All right, come on. We haven't got, just do it. What, now you're pee shy? Okay, if I pee, will you pee? I don't think I even need it. There you go. There you go. We're losing weight.
You're watching Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James.
And that's the new Hummer EV.
It's heavy. Okay, I'm in a 1,000 horsepower Hummer and it is dead silent. But maybe we can make it make some noise. If I press traction control off twice, it buzzes me bum, it makes a funky noise, it goes into watts to freedom mode. I think that's based on the acronym. We're on the moon. I press continue. The vehicle is lowering. Here we go. All those sounds! That is quick and smooth.
And it should be quick, because GM claims that the Hummer has 11,500 pound-feet of torque, but that's the multiplied wheel torque. The real number's closer to 1,100. So they're being cheeky and misleading. I might as well start saying that I can go a whole 10 minutes if I count the first 9.5 of warm-up. But like me, the Hummer also has some performance shortcomings.
And I've hit a speed limiter. 106 miles an hour is apparently all I'm allowed to do in the Hummer, which is probably for the best. That was 3.4 seconds to 60 miles an hour. They claim 3, but I imagine that's in perfect conditions. We do have a healthy bunch of battery at the moment though. How does Hummer achieve that power? This is a tri-motor, much like the Model S Plaid. And yes, the Model S Plaid can do that in 2 or whatever it is seconds, but this is a Hummer.
This nameplate has an amazing story. It went from being a genuine military vehicle driven by the Governator, to a vehicle that was kind of a military vehicle for the road, to a vehicle that was made only for the road, destined to be cut in half and filled with bridesmaids, to now an electric monster that as spec'd costs $112,000 US. This one was graciously provided by the wonderful people at Tustin Buick GMC in Southern California, who on extremely short notice drove it all the way to Willow Springs just for us to test. So now, the Hummer, in its newest form, has no traditional engine and burns absolutely zero freedom juice, so it seems like a large departure from its horribly inefficient predecessors. Or is it?
If you're new to Throttle House, we do car reviews, track tests, and quite a lot of messing around. So subscribe and hit the bell.
Is it a gas guzzler? No, it's an EV. However, it's one of the most inefficient EVs, or is the most inefficient EV we've ever driven. The battery is 212 kilowatt hours, and yet the range is only slightly better than a Rivian R1T. Oftentimes, you get in a car with this much power and it doesn't feel like it wants to do it. This feels like it's made for it. And it's not just the noise that's exciting. When you accelerate, the whole car lifts up like a boat on plane. You can change the noise. If I change the mode, that's in watts to freedom mode. If I go to my mode or off-road and I accelerate now, it gives me a different note. Or if you want to be quieter, you can go to normal. Another note, but quieter. Because then you suddenly become this humble guy in your Hummer. Wow, that's an incredible turning circle. 4-wheel steer, that makes a Rivian R1T feel large. I promise you, the Rivian R1T can't turn there in one go. I know that because I just did it. But it's not just the light or the aggressive acceleration. This thing actually has some really nuts, novel technology, and probably the most novel on that list is the crabwalk. Now, this is a feature like on the Maybach GLS where it bounces. It has off-roading in mind, and what it does is instead of turning the rear wheels the opposite direction to the front wheels to reduce the turning circle like we just experienced there, it turns them the same way. So you can dodge a boulder or a rock off-roading. But my guess is that most people are going to drive this only on the street. So what are you going to dodge? An idiot? Oh! Okay, so a slight turn of the wheel. The car stays facing mostly forward. Okay. And I just zip past him, just like that.
Huh?
Oh, this is weird. I'm turned fully to the left right now, and the car is facing the same way. It just needs little turns if I go really slow. Look at that. The car is not changing direction. Very eerie. Very eerie. So, it has crabwalk. It has fun noises. It has a 0 to 60 time that has a 3 before it. And yet, it weighs over 9,000 pounds. The weight of this vehicle is over 9,000. How?
Well, some of that weight is obviously from the batteries. It always is in an EV. Actually, when we had the Rivian R1T, they wouldn't tell us how much the batteries weighed in that truck. They said they wanted to focus on other things. Also, they were probably concerned that we'd do something silly, like compare the weight of the batteries to the weight of an entire car. Yeah. The batteries in a Hummer EV weigh about the same as an entire brand new Civic Si. Which does beg the question, where's the rest of the weight? Oh, I know, it's in the rest of the truck because this thing is utterly, ridiculously, massively, idiotically huge. However, if you put it into one of the more aggressive modes, so if I put it in a watts to freedom mode, I'm sure James was driving around in that a lot, he loves freedom. And I think I have to come to a stop, actually. Oh, my bum is rumbling. Continue. Oh, the vehicle's lowering. This is on air suspension. It's on the adaptive air suspension because it is the first edition. All right, here we go. Off we go. And, oh, so much noise. This is so cool. I will say that the ride is quite good. And as long as you've got the suspension lowered a little bit, you know what? It's handling its mass pretty well. I will say that the situation is, and we've had this with the Rivian as well as other heavy EVs, is that in order for it to be able to control its mass at all, the suspension does have to be quite stiff. And so it's kind of jostling a little bit over the small bumps. It takes the big impacts very well. And as a result of jostling over the little bumps, everything is rattling, these roof panels, which do come off and are very cool. They're kind of banging all over. You hear that? Yep, okay. But you know what? The steering is very intuitive. And if I wasn't on big, ridiculous, knobby off-road tires, hear all that? I'd say that the steering is better than a lot of SUVs. However, the overall kind of demeanor of this car is really fun. It's really fun. I love the noises that they put in here. And I feel bad because Hans Zimmer designed the noises for the i4, and yeah, it was very cool, but it's got nothing on this. I don't know who, was it John Williams who did this? I have no idea. But it's tons and tons of fun. And the whole truck is this kind of big, dumb shark. It's like Bruce from Finding Nemo. Fish are friends, not food. But then, gets a whiff of blood. Its eyes go black. It's stinking quick until you get to 106 miles an hour. Then it's like, no more please, because you won't be able to stop. But the thing is, if you buy a Hummer, you don't buy it or off-roading or hauling stuff. Let's be serious. You buy it for showing off. So let's see what happens. Even to a group of car enthusiasts who couldn't be further from the target audience of this car, the Hummer got everyone's attention. It seems to make people giggle, which is, I think, exactly what it was meant for. Before long, someone asked me to crab walk, so I obliged and decided to keep on crab walking all the way back to chat with James. I'm crab walking.
I saw.
Yeah.
You enjoy showing your friends?
It's so cool.
We've had DeLoreans, we've had Aventadors. This is the one you go and try and find a group of people to show.
It really is. It's so easy to be excited about because there's just so much stuff that it does. Have you seen all the technology in the inside?
I don't know why I didn't give GM more credit.
Honestly, it's such a cool truck.
The crabwalk is the least impressive thing about this.
I think you're right,
It
actually.
brakes confident. It should drive so much worse than it does. It should be a pile of crap.
Yeah, no, you're probably right, and it isn't. And I think that I would option it or buy non-crazy knobby off-road tires for it.
Yeah.
Because it feels pretty confident and is being let down by those. Like when you do the hilarious launch, the watts to freedom.
It's just a scream.
It's just squealing, screeching rubber and all that stuff.
Question about
right?
that launch.
Okay.
It's the watts to freedom.
Watts
right?
to freedom.
When you it says armed.
Yep.
Is there some irony to the fact that it limits you at 106 miles an hour? It's the watts to freedom.
Yeah, freedom is not 106 miles an hour.
You get to 100 and it goes limited.
I don't know where freedom is at what speed, but it's definitely not 100. I
Maybe
was
it's a
expecting
metaphor.
it. Yeah, I guess so.
It could be like a freedom ain't free thing, you know?
Yeah, maybe. No, I think that this, also, I gotta say that the rear wheel steering in this is so sensationally good.
It feels like only yesterday we were in the Maybach and it was doing the 10 degree and we were like, wow, this is next level.
Yeah, in the new S-Class, the EQS,
Yeah.
is a horrendous example of rear wheel steering.
Why?
What?
No, and it's low speed is fine.
Oh yeah, no, sure, but like the way that this manages the low speed versus the high speed and the transition between them,
Yeah.
and how much of a tiny turning circle this thing can do is crazy.
I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed. And it's, what is it to look at though, you know?
Well, here's how you start looking at it. You look at it from here, and you go like, oh, you know, it's actually not that much bigger than a normal truck. And you get here, and then you have to pack a lunch before you actually get to the other side of it.
It's very large.
It is so wide. It's
and
nuts.
It's quite proudly Hummer.
Yes.
And there's H's everywhere. There's H here.
Yep.
And there's H's on the
Oh, is that
rear.
what that is?
Yeah, there's H's on the tail lights.
I understand.
There's sideways H's on the tail lights,
Oh.
which are just I's. it's like yeah, this is an upside down M, you know.
Yes.
That's a different letter at that point.
Letter.
They're pushing the boundaries.
These are pretty beefy, eh?
They're beefy and it's got all the armor going underneath for the off-road stuff.
Yeah. There is some pretty cool like features around this truck that
You've upset it now.
Yeah, I don't know what it's doing. He doesn't like being uneven. There you go. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is the first edition?
This is the first edition.
Right.
So it's like quite a significant jump over 100 grand.
Right.
But it comes with all the stuff.
Yeah.
It comes only in white.
Oh, really? First edition only one?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it has the moon theme going on. I know you referenced that earlier.
Yes.
So that's the white is part of the moon, and then inside
Yeah.
it gets quite moony.
Moony.
But before we do that, we've recently been driving some EVs
Yeah.
that have changed the definition of frunk to Throttle. And this has
What's the word that you just said? I'm not gonna dig
some
any
EVs
deeper
have
in
frunks that masquerade as frunks. Look at that.
Yeah. You know, it's ridiculous. It's huge.
And you can take the roof panels off and stick
store
in.
them in here. Yeah.
That
No,
is-
it's really nice.
And it's got the lightning
Charging
thing where
stuff.
this comes down.
Yeah.
So you have this entire.
It's really
you know,
easy to load stuff in.
You can load stuff.
I'm having a hard time saying very many bad things about this truck, and usually I'm pretty critical.
Oh, this feels electric.
yeah,
Where's the
probably.
button?
You broke it.
I broke it.
You've broken it.
Hummer man. Hummer man, close.
It's so angry with you. I think it also looks great in the SUV, which is the
Incoming, yeah, not out yet.
Yeah, it's not out yet.
So the truck bed is quite easy to operate.
Yep.
Thing comes down, there's a step, big. And there's a tonneau cover you can get. This hasn't got it installed, but this does have the side steps.
Yeah, so we will look at the front seats in a second, but I think that the rear seats, I'd like to say, are, for anyone who's wondering, they feel exactly like the crew cab of a pickup truck.
Yeah, they're quite jumpy.
Jump
seats.
Yeah, and they have the same kind of amount of space, and then underneath there's like the seats fold up and there's a spot.
Plenty
it's just
of
like
space
my
there.
Ram, actually.
Plenty of space.
Let's look at the interior.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I say something slightly controversial? There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
Someone at GM really likes butt stuff. Because we got in the Cadillacs.
It does not stop vibrating your butt in this car.
This takes it to the next level.
Yeah.
Like, the Cadillacs, when you get close to a car, they do a buzz buzz.
Yeah.
But this vehicle, at every possible moment,
Yes.
if someone's close to the car,
It buzzes.
if you're in What's to Freedom,
It buzzes.
and then if you put your foot on the brake for
It
the
buzzes.
second stage of What's to Freedom,
It's more buzzes.
it buzzes double time. Your butt has a good time in the Hummer. That's
really
That's the
does.
first thing.
Yeah, and you know what? Have you ever been to a D-Box theater?
So worried. What you're saying, have you ever been to, after all the anyway, a D-Box theatre?
Do you know what I'm talking
in
about?
Canada, the 4D style.
Yeah, so like he
Stuff.
puts you in a seat and it kind of like vibrates with the movie to give you a...
You know who has been to one of those?
Who?
Whoever put that in the
I
GM.
think so, yeah. That's what it reminds me of.
I feel like it's every meeting just being like, we are going to include that. Okay, I just want to...
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Are we going to buzz for that? We'll buzz for that as well, right? Okay, just checking.
So my Hummer experience is actually incredibly limited, but sitting in
Yes.
here, it does feel very rugged and off-roady. This is a very raked screen.
It has the Total Recall windscreen wipers.
Yeah,
just
again,
like
FJ vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. GM have done what Ford did with the Bronco. They stuck to the brand. And
Yes.
They proud, this is no Chevy Blazer.
No.
And it's
Chevy
controversial they did it as an EV, but the fact that it has such terrible efficiency is on brand. They listened.
Yeah, yeah, no, and honestly, it has just enough range that, like, we have been driving this thing all day.
Oh, the range is fine.
We've been racing it, and
Yeah.
there's still 185 miles left at this point, right?
This is the first vehicle that's caused a mental shift for me from how much range versus efficiency. With cars, you think
That's
about
right.
MPG.
Yes.
You don't think what can I do on a tank
Right.
as often.
Right.
Whereas with EVs, up until now, we've been like, what can we do on one range?
Yes.
Now this is like, ooh.
It's not efficient.
Yeah.
As an EV.
I've never operated in miles per kilowatt hour.
No, this is a new thing for me as well. Anyway, okay, so like just a quick overview of the interior here. Like the headline figures, steering wheel is totally fine. I can control this screen. My only gripe is that if I put the steering wheel in a position where it's comfortable for me, I can't really see all of this gauge cluster.
Right.
But the graphics on it are very cool. It does some stuff with the torque up top.
Well, that's not unassisted. That is so all these graphics, all these cool animations.
That's right.
They hired the guys who made Fortnite,
Yeah, and you can tell as soon as I select this.
Epic Games.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I know, it's so
Do you see
cool.
there's a shuttle behind you?
Yeah,
there?
yeah, because you're in tow haul mode. You're towing a shuttle. Of course you are, because everything is moon related.
Yes. If you're a space person, by the way, and that's not a shuttle, I'm really sorry. It just looks like a space.
Maybe it's the rocket. I don't know.
Rocket.
First stage. Anyway, so this screen is very visually cool. I will say that maybe this is an early one. It'll make some over-the-air updates and stuff. It's pretty laggy at this point.
Yeah.
I'm finding, and it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Like this Google thing comes in every once in a while, and it overlays over top of all this stuff. But really good stuff. All of these are really neat because there's a heated seat button, cooled seat button here, right? But if I click this,
Yeah, opens
it
up.
makes these two buttons now to adjust. So they're not touchscreen.
So you can be wearing thick gloves in the winter.
And actually turn on your heated
Yeah.
seat.
There's pomp. How do you say it? Pomp and circumstance
Pomp and circumstance. Yeah.
about everything in this.
It's actually his name. That's the song. Da, 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 da,
We don't
da,
need that.
da, da.
We've had a long day,
A lot of sun.
But it's been
not enough water.
but it's been a great day,
Yeah.
and I think this is, I don't know, really impressed by this.
This is one of the most fun EVs that I've driven because it's big and it's stupid.
Yeah.
I love the noises that it makes.
It comes with Super Cruise, which we haven't actually had a chance to test it today.
No, we haven't. We're not actually allowed to drive this car on the road right now because it's so new.
It's dealer plated, yeah.
It's dealer plated. We can't.
So
even
our
officially drive.
playground was Willow Springs.
International Raceway.
So, which is obviously not where this is at home, but somehow it did absolutely fine.
I think you're probably going to see this truck on Throttle House again at some point because I want some more time in it.
Yeah.
It's just really awesome. I'm very excited it exists. And
Moon stuff. It's got moon stuff.
it's moon stuff. Yeah.
So
yeah.
this is all supposed to be the same, because the idea of this vehicle is it's supposed to be GM's moonshot.
Right.
So because they helped with the Apollo 11 mission.
Right.
So this looks like the gold and the white and the greys
Yep.
and the blacks. That looks supposed to look like Apollo. There's patterns on the floors.
I feel like I need to be wearing an Omega Speedmaster. That's a watch. I know you don't know. That's okay.
I thought it was like just a pair of swim trunks. Like, really-
Not a Speedo.
he can swim so
A
fast
speed-
in those. All right, question for you.
Yes.
This is obviously surprisingly cool for a Hummer. And maybe we'll do the Hummer thing and in 5 years it'll be like, oh, PU. There's some
Oh,
douche-
okay. Yeah, I guess I do.
But in this moment, is it cooler than a Rivian R1T?
Oh, that's a difficult one.
And
Yes.
is the only requirement for that for it to maintain the price that they've said it is?
Yeah, maybe. No, but it is. I think it is.
The roof comes off!
Yeah, all the way off, by the
Well,
way.
not this bit, but this spine comes
Yeah.
off. So you can have this entire front section off.
Okay, so there's obviously a lot more stuff we haven't gone over. We haven't had enough time with this truck. But like as a quick preliminary overview drive, got to race it and launch it. This is one of my favorite EVs on sale right now.
Of the 6.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's not too hard to do
There
the
are
cool-
several EVs
Yeah,
on the
there are,
market,
at
and this is in the
least
top
4.
10.
No, I think this is a really cool truck. Should we do a conclusion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool is a social construct, and not one that Thomas and I are nearly qualified to stamp something with. Have you seen us? Yeah. But, much to our surprise, we really did enjoy the new Hummer EV. What's to Freedom, with its genuine sense of occasion, brings a smile to your face every time, and Crabwalk brings a smile to everyone else's. The fact that it does everything else well, that's just a bonus.
It's big, it's brash, it's still a guzzler, but of electrons, not dinosaurs. And in every conceivable way, it's entirely pointless. So, no doubt, it's a true modern Hummer. Thanks for watching.